This is breaking news from Channel 13 Eyewitness
We have
News.
nobody in custody at this time. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, there is somebody out there that did this horrendous crime, and we're going to track them down.
So before this happened, we were just kind of a normal family. We went about our day-to-day lives. We didn't really watch the news and really didn't have any idea how big the true crime community was and all of these cases that were happening around us. We had no idea. We were always so busy going to different sports practices, different school events, hanging out with our friends, going to whatever was going on that weekend or that week or whatever. So just like a normal, typical family with kids in high school. It was a normal life. We had the day off of school, and we kind of just were enjoying our day. The girls wanted to go to the trails, and I dropped them off. And that's when, a couple hours later, we realized that they weren't answering their phones. So then that's kind of when reality set in. We knew something was wrong, something was happening. We just didn't know what. And then the next day, we found the bodies not too far away from the bridge.
Investigators solemnly identified the two bodies found in Carroll County as 13-year-olds Libby German and Abby Williams. Now, we still don't know what happened to them after they disappeared during an afternoon hiking trip.
I know for my family, we still talk about those days and we still don't fully remember everything that was happening, because the full 2 weeks after they were found, we still have this big blur of time where we weren't really in our bodies. We were there, but we weren't really there. And I think a lot of that is just because we've pushed it out. We don't want to remember it. But as time goes on, we do remember little things, and we try to remember that time that we felt closest as a family at that point, and took care of each other. I remember the first year after, I spent so much time trying to figure out what had happened. It just wasn't something that happened to people in my community. It shouldn't have happened to, well, it shouldn't happen to anybody, but it definitely shouldn't have happened to somebody in a small area like we lived in. So I remember not believing it. I would sit in my room and watch down the hallway and wait for her to walk into her room, or drive up the driveway and still look up at her window and see if her light was on. So it just never really felt real, and it still doesn't. And I think I still continue to go through different stages of the grief process. I still have days where I think that this can't be real. This still can't have happened to my family. And I still have days where I'm angry and frustrated. And there's days where I'm sad and upset. And there's days I'm completely okay and I just get through the day and I'm fine. So it just kind of goes on, and you kind of go through the process, and it just takes time and a lot of patience before you can get to a point where you say, yeah, I'm okay. This happened, and now I have to live my life. I went to therapy for about 6 months. It started way after, about 6 months after the murders is when I started going. I actually went to group therapy when I was at Ball State, which was what really helped me and brought me a lot of strength. I spent a lot of time with people that didn't necessarily know what I had gone through, but they were going through their own struggles, and they were able to talk to me about what they were going through, and that helped me to feel like I had a community of people that were willing to help me, whether they knew what was happening or not. But I think a big part of coping for me was just joining the true crime community and meeting so many people that had been in my shoes, who maybe had been in my situation, but now their case is solved, or there's somebody who's just now going through it, or they're at the same process of me as trying to find a killer. So being in a community with these people has really been the best form of therapy for me. I learned that I was really bad at boundaries. I was really bad at saying no. I learned that I would do every single interview and everything I could to solve this case. And I had to learn how to put that aside and create those boundaries for myself. But most of all, I learned what my passion was. I learned that I really want to help people that are going through what I'm going through. and don't know about this great community that they could be a part of now, that they should never have to be a part of. So now I guess I just learned who I am because of what happened. The survivor's journey is absolutely ever evolving. I think there's never a day where you can say, I'm totally okay. And there's never a day where you can say, this is never going to end. I think you're constantly going through this battle with yourself of, should I continue to fight or should I step back and take a break? So you're always fighting for that person, and sometimes it costs you yourself. So you just keep pushing.